Hello, welcome to Guanyin Practice. I had a very interesting thing happen this morning. I'm just going to talk about it for a minute. Um, I had like an altar cascade. Have you ever had this happen where you have your altar, everything has its place. You probably clean it, redo it from time to time, but you have like certain objects just have their place. And so I was doing interacting with my altar in one of the objects in its place, and it slid into and bumped another object, which fell and rolled onto another altar and landed and like exploded that altar. And then I went back, and when I got to that other altar that had exploded, I discovered that there was like stuff that didn't need to be there. There was like at least one item that I was like, oh, you don't belong here anymore. There was a lack of offerings. Something like the water that I had placed on the altar had all evaporated due to the heater. So all of these like cascade of things led me to this one altar today, and was like, pay attention to this altar. And you know how when that happens, like, I don't know if this has happened to you, but hi, Joanne. Oh, I'm glad you made it today. Nice to see you. So I don't know if this has happened to you, but where an altar literally like starts to break down to draw your attention to it so that you'll interact with it. And when you interact with it, you find the things that needed to change there that you didn't necessarily even know needed to change. So that's what I'm saying I had this morning. I had an amazing altar reconfiguration. It's not this one. This one's fine. But I was looking over there because I'm now in process on this reconfiguration of altar, and it's quite a journey. And I think it's going to end up very different than what it was. So I'm kind of excited about it. I hope everyone's having a good day. Joanne says, I did that last month. Hi, Michael. Good to see you. Hi, Christy and Christy. Christy with an I and Christy with a Y. It's good to see you. Thank you for complimenting my colors. I love this color. I don't know if it's in my like official colors. I've never done that, but even if it isn't, I love it. Okay, today we've got some prayer requests that we're going to be paying attention to. So we're holding Mary Beth, who is having surgery today. We are holding Lisette, who had surgery this week and is recovering. We're holding Audrey, who had surgery 2 weeks ago and crossed a big milestone this week in her recovery. We are holding Claire, who had some really positive things happen with her health this week. And then finally, we are holding the family of little Isabella, who passed away suddenly last weekend, and whose family is deeply, deeply grieving her. And we call upon Tara, we ask Guanyin, we ask all of those helper, healer, savior goddesses to be there for Isabella's spirit and for her family, who are grieving so much right now. So that's who we'll be dedicating our practice to today. And today we are working with Tara number 2. So this line from the prayer we did the other day, homage, goddess whose face is like hundreds of stacked up full autumn moons, kind of appropriate for the upcoming full moon. Lady radiant with light spread out over clusters of thousands of stars. So not everybody knows, but the name Tara means star. That's the meaning of the word. And so let's take a little closer look at this moon Tara, who is watching and presiding over the field of stars. This is Lotar Chenma, otherwise known as Vajra Sarasvati, the melodious one, the treasure of intelligence. Her mantra is Om Tare Tutare Prajna Hrim Hrim Soha. And her description on the Tara Mandala website is Lotar Chenma is peaceful and white in color. She unlocks the treasures of music, art, wisdom, and the four types of knowledge. So, because she's a white Tara, she's a pacifying Tara. So, we talked yesterday about the red Tara is magnetizing Tara, white Tara is pacifying Tara. Upon her Utpala flower is a clear mirror marked with the syllable Hrim, which radiates light. Her face glows with the white light of 100 autumn full moons. So this name, Lotaryang Chenma, let's see here. It must have something to do with the full autumn moon. But either way, we are working with her today. She is the form of Tara that we're investigating. Tara of the arts, Tara of light, Tara of pacification. And this past week, I don't know about you, but it's been like a high anxiety week for me for no reason. Like it's ambiantly in the field. It just feels like there's a lot of anxious energy, a lot of people dealing with some really heavy stuff. And I've been experiencing that kind of sympathetically with others, but I've also been just sort of feeling like a heightened awareness in my body, just like a heightened, almost like a high pitched note playing underneath everything. And Linda says same, and Joanne says yes. So it's not just me. Okay. And let me know in the comments over here. Natalie says good morning. Hi, Natalie. Let me know in the comments over here, have you been experiencing like a high note? Maybe it's a little anxiety, or maybe it manifests as just like a sort of a high level energy. Christy says, yes, I concur. And it feels like, in a way, full moon buildup, like we're building up to the full moon. And sometimes that's a heightened time. This is the worm moon, though. It's not usually like so desperate. It's not like a really fiery moon. It's a composting moon. It's a burrowing moon. It's a sort of clothe yourself in safety kind of moon. So I mean, spring equinox is coming, and there is that burgeoning sense that moves toward the equinox. But either way, maybe it's astrology, maybe it's just the collective, maybe it's the fact that we're literally living in unimaginable times that often, if you just stayed with the news, feel like end times. I'm thinking about unsubscribing from 2 news outlets and just leaving myself with the one nationwide one, because it's like a little overwhelming. And it's not that I don't want to know, it's that I have to prioritize my energy. This is the mix of things that I'm coming to the table with today, and that I'm bringing to the mat today. So I'm really happy to see Lotaryang Chenma and the pacification of a white Tara, remembering that the powers of the various color Taras are magnifying or magnetizing, pacifying, destroying, and manifesting. And our Buddha Wisdom Shakti Power Oracle is Rahula. Very fierce planetary deity of the sky. Confront the things that scare you most. And she's literally got millions of eyes. Wow. Eyes all over her. Rahula actually only has one eye. This is one depiction of her with the many eyes. She's got so many eyes that she is the eye. And so Rahula is sometimes depicted with just like one or two, and they're closed, but then there's like a whole halo of eyes around her. Rahula is also featured in Vedic astrology. She's not only a deity of Tibetan Buddhism, she's also featured in Vedic astrology, and as Rahu. There's Rahu and Ketu. They come as a pair of like the head of the dragon and the tail of the dragon, or the serpent forces, planetary serpent forces. So there's just like this energy in the air. Okay, here we go. And let's see what's What's up? Why is Loterian Chenma here to pacify? What is she here to pacify today? We have this incredibly ferocious deity. She's got a serpent tail. She's covered in eyes. She has a mouth at her face, a mouth at her belly. She has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, at least 9 heads. Oh, and it's a he. Okay. So Rahula began his life as Rahu, a maleficent troublemaker born under a bad sign, and that's in Vedic astrology. He was born the son of a Naga, the snake deities, and a treasure guardian. The snake deities and earth treasure guardians. That's on one side of his family, and on the other side of his parentage is a Rakshasa, a demon. So ferocious and a little intense here with this. Legend has it that he snuck into a feast and he sat between the sun and the moon, causing an uproar and a scuffle when they discovered him, whereby they cut off his head. His head then roamed the sky, occasionally swallowing the sun or the moon in spiteful revenge, creating eclipses. Okay. Astrology in general finds that calamities and disasters occur with the occlusion of the sun or moon's rays, and so he was greatly feared. The famous Mahasiddha Padmasambhava, on his journey from India to Tibet, ran into a number of terrifying demons that plagued the land. One of them was Rahu, but Padmasambhava was a crafty and gifted enigmatic magician. He tamed Rahu by first getting him to tell him his name, then taking his power from him, and so binding him to the ways of Buddhism. Now you report to me. What a great way to approach something that scares us. To be able to say to that thing that scares us, now you report to me. I don't report to you. I don't report to fear. You report to me. This is a very powerful way of thinking. It's very powerful for me. Like convincing the mafia to work on a sting operation for the FBI, Rahula became a heavy for the good guys. Not always sure the FBI are the good guys, but let's presumably. With his terrifying eyes and gaping mouth, he now protects and defends the Buddhist teachings. His name became Rahula, La meaning Lord. La means a lot of things. It means over there. It means holy. It means basically it means holy. So you can see like La as applied to males as godly, and La as applied to females as like unto a goddess. So like I might say to my teacher, I might call her Kandrola, which is like an affectionate term for saying, magical goddess here on earth. Surrounded by flames that signify his high mastery, Rahula is the Naga king, and poison is his favorite substance. So he takes in anything that's considered impure and he purifies it, which is serpent power. That's transformation power. And he rules over, in the Dharma, he's petitioned for gamblers, prostitutes, sex workers, and atheists. So anybody who's doing anything that societally or religiously might be deemed out of bounds, he is their patron. He protects and watches over them. Because in Buddhism, there's somebody for everybody. That's the thing I love about Buddhism. Nobody's left out. There's a deity, a being, a protector for everyone, for every walk of life. And there's no judgment. It's like, okay, we'll meet you where you're at, whatever it is that's going on. Society has deemed you unworthy. Don't worry, you're worthy. We think you're worthy. Maybe religion, according to traditional religion, you'd be considered bad. We're meeting you there. We're there with you. This is actually a really great lesson for dispelling fear, actually, when it comes down to it. Whether you work with Rahula or not, whether you're part of a lineage, our lineage in our temple is one of the lineages where Rahula is present as a guardian of the lineage. But whether you work with Rahula or not, it could just as easily be any other fierce spirit that you work with, a fierce goddess, a fierce ancestor or deity. Either way, you have the ability to invoke that energy, have it arise from within you, and meet that energy in the spirit form that you're in relationship with. And then together turn and face the thing that you have deemed too scary, too difficult, too negative, too challenging, and just face it and do it and say, no, I don't report to this fear. My fear reports to me. That's how it doesn't run my life. So when we have these ambient anxieties, like this week has been a week of ambient anxiety. I mean, it's not only ambient, right? I mean, it's ambient anxiety. It's not baseless. The world we live in is full of things that are really scary right now. Like anyone who's paying attention knows this. But to say that doesn't report to me, or I don't report to that, that reports to me. That's where the power, I think, the real power is of pacifying. Pacifying or subduing is not a gesture that's sort of a gesture of surrender. Pacifying or subduing is a bringing under, is a declaration that says, I am bringing this, I'm integrating this into who and what I perceive myself to be for the purposes of confronting my fear, for the purposes of experiencing the full range of what I might experience on earth. And fear will be one of those things. I'm here for the whole thing. I'm here for the entirety of the experience of life, the good, the bad, the ugly, the fearful, the acceptable, the unacceptable. I'm here for all of it. And who I bring myself as to that experience is what determines whether, or is the evidence that my spiritual practice is working or not. If my spiritual practice is working, I will bring myself to it correctly, even if it takes me a while to get there, even if I make mistakes and I learn from them, even if there are ups and downs about it, that's okay. Yeah, Natalie also said she's been experiencing some anxiety. So let's all together, I'm holding hands with you. Let's all together today be like, anxiety, ambient anxiety, fear, you report to me. I don't report to you. Come be integrated into my life experience. I see you. I'm not turning away. Who I am in your presence is who I am as a practitioner. And yes, I might sometimes have to shut down and rest. And yes, sometimes I might feel overwhelmed. And yes, sometimes I might make mistakes. But who I'm bringing myself as is who I am as a practitioner. Let's do it. Let's do it today and this whole weekend. Let's do that. All right, that's our short bit for today. It's like not super short. It was a little bit chewy and intense, but I actually feel like it's giving me some very, very fruitful guidance for how to cope with this ambient feeling. And I hope it's helpful to you too. Now, let's do the work. 3 prostrations before the shrine of Guan Yin. Let's get into it. Hmm. I do have one more thing to say, which is, you know, when Yeshet Tsogyal was born, in the lake that expanded when she was born, as we saw in her card the other day, there dwelt Nagas. And the Naga king, Rahula, planted a sandalwood tree at her birthplace that was her life force tree. That's significant to my cascade of altars today. That's all I'll say about it, but it's significant. All right, let's take refuge. Namo Guru Be. I take refuge in the inner teacher. Namo Buddhaye. I take refuge in the great mother of compassion. Namo Dharmaye. I take refuge in the wisdom of the ages. Namo Sanghaye. I take refuge in the community of practitioners. And let's set our intention, a person, place, situation, or circumstance that will benefit from today's practice. And I listed before, we're holding Mary Beth, Lisette, Claire, Audrey, the family of Isabella. And let's recite the four immeasurables. May I be a source of loving kindness in this world and all worlds, bringing a generous heart to all my thoughts and doings. May I be a vehicle of compassion in this world and all worlds, ever mindful and aware of the tremendous suffering of others. May I be a brimming vessel of joy in this world and all worlds, delighting in the happiness of others as their suffering is alleviated. May I be a balance point of equanimity in this world and all worlds, seeing all as equals and all as deserving of goodness. I light this candle as a symbol of the enlightening Dharma way. May it shine brightly for the benefit of all beings. I light this incense as an offering for Guan Yin, she who hears the cries of the world, mother of all. Omahung. 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 Reverently, I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind and present clouds of every type of offering, actual and virtual. I confess all my destructive actions accumulated since beginningless time and rejoice in the meditation of all holy and ordinary beings. Please, Guan Yin, remain until the end of samsaric existence and turn the wheel of Dharma for sentient beings. I dedicate my own merits and those of others to the great enlightenment. 108 recitations of Namo Guan Yin Pusa, calling upon Guan Yin and asking her to show us where we might have an inroad for understanding and integrating our fears rather than feeling subject to them. Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa, 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 Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa. Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa, 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 Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa. Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa, 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 Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa. Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa, 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 Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa. Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa, 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 Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa. Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa, Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa, Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa, Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa. Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa, 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 Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa. Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa, 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 Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa. Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa, 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 Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa. Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa, 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 Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa. Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa, 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 Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa. And our brief prayer for the money reciter of Calm by Gyaltse Tokme Zangpo. Lama Dankun Shuksum Lakchak Salo Dakni Changchup Ningpor Chike Bar Gangdang Gangdu Kepa de Dang Der Tadu Tuje Chempo Chetsin Shing Gusum Gewe Chula Chaparsho Jamdang Ningje Chempo Kunlang Ne Tuje Chempo Kun Juchar Gurpa Nam Lame Chanchu Chola Gope Chir Tuje Chempo Trinle Je Parsho. Homage to the Guru and Three Jewels. From now until I reach the essence of awakening, no matter where I may be reborn in those places, may I always follow the great compassionate one and dedicate my body, speech, and mind to virtue. Inspired by loving kindness and great compassion, in order to lead all Mahakarunika's followers to supreme and unsurpassable awakening, may I carry out the great compassionate one's activity. Lama Dankun Shiksum Lakchat Salu, Dakni Changchu Ningpor Chike Bar, Gangdang Gangdu Kipa Dedang Der, Tadu Tuje Champo Jedzin Shing, Gusum Gewe Chula Chaparsho, Jamdang Ningje Champo Kunlang Ne, Tuje Champo Durjar Girpa Nam, Lame Changchu Chola Gope Chir, Tuje Champo Drunle Je Parsho. And now 108 recitations of Om Mani Padme Hum, sending out our benefits of our practice to all of our sisters and friends on earth who need it. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 And let's give thanks for our teachers. May all of my blessed teachers enjoy long, happy, healthy, productive lives and great support for their good works. May all beings benefit from their wisdom. May they enjoy a swift and happy rebirth. And long life prayer for Lama Dechen Yeshe Wangmo. Om Swasti. Through the powerful blessings of the immortal Pema Jungye and his consort, may the three secret qualities of the Dakini of Supreme Bliss, Yeshe Wangmo, be utterly stable, and may the light of her activities shine on the lotus groves of the teachings and of beings so that they blossom in radiant splendor. And let's dedicate the merit. May the merit of this practice and all of my activities be of endless benefit to all beings in all realms, beginningless and continuous. May all obstacles be overcome and suffering cease at the sound of liberation. May all beings be free from suffering and its causes. May all beings have happiness and its causes. May we carry the essence of Guanyin in our hearts. Namo Guanxin Pusa. And we close with a bow to Guanyin, bow to one another, and a bow to the inner teacher, and wishing everyone a great weekend of confronting our fears and making them report to us. We can do this. Be back Monday.